Welcome back to Whitt Acres. Today we're going to be doing some veggie garden maintenance. It's been pretty cool these last few days. Hey Robin. Got a worm for your kids. I already came out. You can go in. Go on, take it in. They're probably hungry. It's been cool for the last few days, so we've actually had to take some precautions with the pumpkin and give it a little hoop house. And since I had my brother's dogs this past week, I didn't do a lot of maintenance in the vegetable garden, so I have a little bit of catch up I need to do. Go on in. Echo won't bother you. The lupin are also getting a little bit past their prime here. They're going to be going to seed. The columbine's starting to fall back, but we're actually getting some yellow poppy blooms here too. They were all volunteers. Good. Echo won't bother you. He is in there though. Huh, Pop? You want to open some mail? We'll get there. Come here, Pop. She's got to get that food to her babies. Come on. We got works to do. Yeah, the 9 bark's looking good. Starting to give some different shades of color. Alright, now that that's taken care of, we're going to be heading down into the vegetable garden. There is work to do out here, especially on the pond bank. You can see these volunteer sunflowers that are all popping up. Probably won't be able to keep them all because they're going to get a little bit too tall for the pond bank. But there's plenty of weeding that needs done. The mulch didn't really snuff those out. Now we do still have the pink rhododendron blooming around the bench right here in the island, and the iris is all blooming across the peninsula. Huh, pup, the yellow flag iris has just opened up too. Gorgeous, just speckling all the way through. Huh, Pop. And over here, one of the first ones to open, this peony is looking gorgeous and smelling beautiful. It opened up and then the rain came and it shut really quick. But as you can see, the sunshine brought it right back to a full bloom. Gorgeous. Yeah, the peony's probably in the top 3 smells in the garden. And we're still getting blooms on my favorite color iris over here, the deep purple, almost a black. And there's another one to open up still. A yellow and a purple combination opened up over here. And some more flag irises back here. I think this orange one's new from the last video as well. It's a nice different color. Well, excuse me there, Pop. Just trying to show off some flowers here. Another in yellow purple combination over here. Some more flag irises. And we do have this beautiful one over here. I think I showed it in the last video, but it warrants an encore. Alright, Pup, we can't get distracted by nature. We have things to do. We have all the birds out enjoying the pond. At least all the waterfowl. Mumbles. What are you doing, Ron? Taking your girls down to the koi pond. You checking out the cut flower garden now that I got it all weed whacked down. I did a bunch of weed whacking earlier this week. And I got everything but the perennials cut down inside the cut flower garden. Trying to keep the possibility open of actually getting that planted this year. Still a beautiful lupin here at the corner at the garden entrance. And these hostas have really filled in full. Huh, Pop? This butterfly bush is actually a little bit too full. I bet the birds can't even find their bath. I need to prune that one back. But there's a lot of maintenance in my vegetable garden right now that I've been saying I need to get done. I just haven't got it done yet. The animals tend to take priority on my projects. But like I said, it has been cold the last few days and the pumpkin in the patch is still growing. And it outgrew the culvert pipe ring that we had around it. So I had to make a little hoop house out of some PVC pipe I had laying around from an old drip system I tried to make. Nothing fancy, just trying to keep it a little bit warmer at night. The pumpkin is a summer squash and it'll actually stop growing below 50 degrees and wait until the temperature comes back above. And it also stops growing on the other end, about 85 degrees. It'll stop growing if it gets too hot, but we really don't have that issue right now. I did have some painter's plastic lying around. It's pretty thin, but it's giving me a little hoop house here to try and keep her warm at night. And I'm thinking I should probably cover her over here soon so she can actually absorb some sunlight here before it goes all the way down. But she is growing here. I probably will water her tomorrow morning. You can kind of see a dusty powder on the leaves. That is the 7 to keep the bugs off of her. And we are still putting on some new growth, so that is good to see. And my 2 friends that are also growing giant pumpkins are having some troubles this year getting started. One has a little bit bigger of a plant than mine, but it's not doing too well. He actually just had to cut off part of the main vine from rot. And the other guy's pumpkin stunted whenever he put it in the ground, so it's really not growing at all yet. So right now I'm technically in the lead, but I gotta get a pumpkin to win. Pop. And we did cover up the rest of the patch here to try and keep the weeds down before she gets too far off the hill, and maybe even tomorrow, because it's supposed to be nice tomorrow and I'm hoping this will dry out a little bit more. And then I'll come through with the rototiller and get it all turned up around the pumpkin here, and then I can cover it back up with the tarp, and we'll actually have some nice soil for the pumpkin to grow down on that won't be full of weeds. Pop. Because there's definitely weeds down here in the garden we need to take care of. I've been doing most of the weed whacking outside and all around that needed the long grass cut down. But I also got to bring it inside the garden pathways here and get all this thistle chopped down before it goes to flower. And this flea daisy. And that plant is actually toxic to dogs and cats, but Echo Pup's not going to eat it, and he doesn't really have a problem if he brushes up against them or walks through them. I have them all over. There are many plants that are considered toxic to dogs and cats that I have in the gardens. Every lily for one, plus tomato plants and pepper plants and potato leaves. All stuff you can't give to the animals. But for the most part, they know what not to eat. The ones I'm mostly worried about are the goats whenever they get out of their fence. A girl. There's a lot of things in the gardens I don't want the goats to be eating. But speaking of weeding, we need to hand weed this bed, try and get the onions to actually show through again. We have some garlic in the middle there that's getting taken over, and this whole bedside of onions is actually getting covered up. Good thing an onion grows like grass and actually shines through. But I also never harvested any of this lettuce, so we need to do some work in this bed. There's probably some peas I could harvest too. There is. Look at that thing. Let me see. Oh, they're just starting to get some bumps to them. Oh, this one's actually probably ready. Look, there's a pea in there. Well, it could be bigger. Pop, do you want one? You want to try a pea? Yeah, you only eat meat. But these are actually getting pretty close. And there's also some hand weeding we have to do in here by the cabbage. More thistle. And this one cabbage with the dying leaves is still growing, so we're leaving that one go. And the rest of them are looking good. I need to get these sprayed with BT again after we hand weed. Pop. And now with the cooler temperatures we've been having, the peppers and the tomatoes have not put on a lot of growth. I did pinch the top so you can see how they're branching out now. It's going to take a little bit for them to actually get big. But that's what happens whenever you cut the top off, you get 2 liters. Just like any mythical monster, you cut the head off, you get 2 in its place. And last on the docket for today, the straight beds over here still need hilled. The potatoes are reaching high above the soil. Look at that jungle. Looking gorgeous though. Getting some very good growth off of these potatoes. They're looking strong. We actually put whole potatoes in there, so they have a lot of energy to push off with. Hopefully they give me a lot of potatoes in return. But we don't want the sun hitting any of the exposed potatoes, so we need to get some hay on these and wrap them all around each plant, try and get everything covered up that the potatoes are producing. Pop. The trees are coming in nicely. We have the honey locust, and then we have a small blaze red maple, and then a larger blaze red maple, a swamp white oak, and then right behind it is actually a black willow. Pop. This swamp white oak's doing really good, and I actually have plans for this black willow. I have a swampy area over here that stays wet all the time. I actually have a bald cypress planted in the middle, and then a red and a yellow twig dogwood. Also some daylilies wrapping around in the arc. And all of these plants pretty much like wet feet. And also the willow really loves water, of course, so I'm actually going to be taking some of these branches and stuffing them in the back side of the swampy area. And I'm going to be doing that in an attempt to make a live willow fence. But what I need to do is actually get the property line, because this is the edge of my property. That's not my field. So I need to figure out exactly where my property line is so I can build a live willow fence. I don't want to build a live fence and have everything take root and then be a little bit too far over. But we have some plans coming up. Just got to get things lined up first. Literally. But the birds are enjoying their evening down at the pond. And we have some work to get done before dinner. Huh, Pup, how'd you get outside the fence? Silly pup. Good boy. You're stepping right on my onion. I'm gonna have to harvest that one. I think that means we're done. Alright, I think that's gonna be all for tonight. We got the pumpkin tucked away. We're expecting tonight going down to 40 degrees, and I'm hoping this is the last night, and then after that we're gonna be warming up, coming into a summer temperature. At least staying above 50 at night. Huh, pup? You wanna play? You wanna play before dinner? We already missed dinner. You just wanna start to play. Hold on, I'm almost done. Then we came over here and got the greens bed all weeded out by hand. We had a lot of thistle in there around the onions, and they are affecting how the onions are growing. We do have some onions already starting to escape. You can see they're starting to flower. And that is because I started with onion sets this year, and whenever you start with an onion set, it thinks it's already a year old. And onions are biannual, so they actually seed the second year. So with the weather we got, with it warming up, and then it actually cooled off again, so I think that tricked the onions thinking that it's time to harvest. Echo actually stepped on one, so it has a broken neck, so we're gonna have to harvest this one anyway. Once the neck of the onion breaks, it doesn't push any more energy down into the bulb. So we got a dinner onion, or I can cut this up into the sauerkraut. These can also be eaten. You can take these off. We don't want it to go to flour, so I am going to go ahead and pop the flower heads off, the ones that are starting to go to flour. They have a nice little pom-pom sized flower, but we don't really want these going to seed. I was hoping we got some bigger onions. Hopefully some of them keep growing. And then these ones on this side of the bed are getting taken over by the lettuce, and they're really covered up by the weeds, so they're even a little bit smaller. Not looking great so far for the onions, but the peas and the lettuce look good. Pup. But the cabbage over here has been loving this cooler spring weather. It is getting big. It's actually filling out really nicely. I'm hoping to start see some heading here soon. I don't think I've ever had cabbage look this good. I did try and get the pathways weed whacked here, but I ran out of string, so we're gonna call it quits for tonight. I already skipped my regular dinner time, and it's almost time to close up the barn. We have been getting pushed back with the daylight though, so the birds stay out as long as they can. We also got the potatoes all hilled in here, and we're just trying to cover up all the bottoms here. We don't want the sun getting down to the roots where the potatoes are. If the sunshine hits the potato skin, it can actually turn it green, enhancing some of the toxic qualities. And you might want green eggs and ham, but you don't want green potatoes. So I tried to thicken up the hay in there. It is gonna rain and settle down a little bit more, but I'll just keep adding more hay as it's needed. Ducks. About time for bed. And I did pick up some vinegar. I really want to go around here and spray it with that weed killer you guys mentioned. I think it was vinegar, soap, and something else. But I want to hit all the pathways here in the vegetable garden, and then I want to go down the squash mound as well. So whenever this cold weather's over, I can finally get the backup giant pumpkins out of the greenhouse and onto the squash mound. And we really need to get the backups out of the greenhouse. The one in the patch looks good right now, but there's so many things that can go wrong. Pup. But things are looking a little bit better down here in the vegetable garden. It needed some maintenance. And this isn't the only garden that needs cleaned up, so if you want to keep following along with everything here at Whitt Acres, make sure to subscribe down below. Hit that like button before you leave, and you can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching.